Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. So join me today guys on a very special video today where I'm actually going to be unboxing my most expensive purchase that I've had to date. It's an absolute favorite of mine. It's one of the watches I've wanted for such a long time. But I'm also going to share a bit of myself with you today as well. You know, this channel wasn't only meant to be about just hardcore watch reviews, just talking about Chinese watches, whatever. I also initially started this channel to actually talk about my hobby, my love for Seikos, as you guys know. So this channel is also a journey following me through my own watch collecting, and just something to kind of resonate with, other watch enthusiasts out there, just away from the reviews slightly. So I've got this big ass box here, just landed, and the watch originally retailed for around £2,500. It is discontinued also, and I didn't pay the RRP obviously. I got this second hand at £1,500, which, considering everything, is it's not an amazing deal. It's not a bargain of the century, but it's the right price to pay for it. So we're gonna flip this camera around, show you guys as I unbox it. It literally just came through the door right now, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about where I'm actually at currently with the watch collecting hobby. And just a little story about this one as well, because it's a very interesting and very frustrating story. So let's turn the camera. All right, so before I carry on, guys, bear with me. I rarely plan, videos that I've got plenty of time to plan for. And this one is just totally off the top, total freestyle mode, ad hoc. As I said, the watch just come in, and it's probably the best time for me to make this video. So yeah, if I do ramble on or lose my train of thought or whatever, I am a bit random, guys. I do understand that. Maybe I've got some ADHD, who knows? But here's the watch. So let's unbox it for you guys before I go into this video, because I do want to talk about a few things, as I said, and use it as a chance to discuss where I am with the hobby. I think these kind of conversations are important because there's a lot of thought process that goes into this, and just to see where I currently am. So this watch, as I said, yes, it's my most expensive purchase to date, and I've just waited. I could have made it before, I suppose, but I've been wanting to wait for like the right thing, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that. Let me see if I can just figure out where this box opens up, because I don't want to do it like a complete psycho and tear it apart from everywhere, and just open this properly. So bear with me, guys. Okay, so this has arrived from eBay, from the authenticity guarantee department. So any watches that I think are over, I don't know what the limit is, but if they're, let's say, expensive enough, they have to go through eBay's authentication guarantee, and they're quite good. They actually came back to me because they thought there was a discrepancy between the description of the watch. So not only do they evaluate your watch and look at if it is authentic, they look at the description to make sure everything matches. So that is quite a really good service from eBay. A lot of peace of mind there. And they also offer to send it back, but I knew what the issue is. I'll tell you guys after. So let's take it out the box. Yes, I confirmed the watch is a Seiko. It's a JDM model. It is discontinued, and it's a watch. When I open it, you guys will know what I'm talking about, because I absolutely love this watch. And in my early days of YouTube, I was talking about this so much, and in fact, every time I get a homage of it, I'll say the same thing over and over again. So here's the box. Let's take it out. Let's show you the model number first. It's the SBDX017. So that should give it away to you Seiko fans in terms of what this is. This is the Marine Master 300. This is all the documentation from the previous owner. I mean, it's got the full kit, all box, all papers, and all accessories. So here we go, and this is my first genuine look at MM300, and it looks gorgeous. I gotta say, it looks really good. The watch also has an untouched strap. It's quite a funky strap. It's not something I'd probably wear on the watch, but let's have a quick look at it. I don't know, guys, you know this watch is old, right? Everyone's seen it. It's not like it's a new thing, but from a Seiko collector point of view, it still is pretty significant. I mean, it's got all the tapes on the buckles and everything. It's a cool looking strap, yeah, but I'm not one for watch straps. So here's the actual main thing. I've got my links there and everything else that I need. So there we go. And actually, what did they retail at? So they retailed at, it doesn't tell you, does it? Okay. When you scroll the tags, so this retailed at 297,000 yen. I'll convert that and let you guys know what that actually is. But I think in the UK you can get the newest version of the MM300 for around 2,500. I've seen them as low as 2,100 in the sales from stuff like Francis and Gay and all these other kind of retailers. So here is the SBDX 017, and this is for my mate who's going to be watching this. Check the crown out. It's got the Prospex X, mate. Yeah, so that's a bit of an inside one there. So let's get it off the cushion and let's have a look at the clasp. So yes, it does also have the ratchet clasp. So eBay had an issue where the seller said the titanium has a few scratches, but you know, it's kind of self-healed or oxidized. And then where eBay got confused is they saw this, right? Stainless steel. The stainless steel is the back plate, but I think we know the clasp is titanium from the front. I've got one of these, in fact, on my Proxima. So this is where the confusion lies. But I accepted the watch anyway because I knew, you know, what they were talking about. So no issue there. Very kind of smooth operation on the clasp. And here is the actual face of the SBDX 017. But at this point, I'm going to put it away. I'm not going to talk about this. This for me isn't that exciting, actually. This is more of a consolation prize. Let me show you guys what I've actually been trying to get for the last month and a half. So on screen, I'm going to put up a watch. This is the SBDB011 or the Marine Master 600. It just keeps escaping me. I don't know what's going on out there. This watch is escaping me. And I got as close as, well, I thought it was in the bag. I actually bought the watch, right? I had paid for it and everything. But the seller, you know, through their own personal reasons, refunded me. They cancelled the sale. Absolute heartbreaking. This is the watch I want. That's the watch I'm focused on, the SB DB011. For me, in my opinion, the way I see watches, that is pound for pound the best value money dive watch, full stop. It's got a spring drive movement in there. It doesn't have the GS branding, it has a Seiko branding. It's got a GMT, which I'm not too fussed about, but the lug nut design, the bezel, you know, it's an absolute beast of a dive watch and probably the ultimate diver you can get. But of course, they discontinued and they're hard to get hold of. So I'm still hopeful though. The seller did say they'll get back in touch in about a month or so. So it's just a case of being patient. And, you know, I don't have a problem with that. And while I was waiting for that, I actually seen this Marine Master 300 on eBay. And, you know, you normally see the new ones. And the reason I went for this particular one is because, A, the condition was good. It's got all the documentation, etc. But not only that, it's because it still has Marine Master on the dial. And as you guys know, those hardcore Seiko enthusiasts, that there's a bit of a you know, split between the Seiko fans. You know, you've got the Prospex X era and you've got the guys that still want this stuff on the dial. And the reason I mentioned the crown is because the earlier ones didn't have this X on the crown. Then you've got this, which is in the, kind of the middle, which does have the X on the crown. This was just before they released the newer versions with the X on the dial. So, you know, with Seiko, and as with most collections, it's about these little things. And this, of course, has the ATEL 35 movement also. So it's my first experience with a higher beat rate movement from Seiko. And you know what? It looks really good in hand. It does. You know, I'm not knocking it at all. But in comparison to the SBDX 011 that I wanted, it kind of does pale in comparison. It's not the same thing, is it? So let me put this one away. You guys know the story, what I wanted, the SBDX, but why? You know, where am I going with my collection? So, you know, with Seiko, they've got a huge collection. And the early days of Seiko collecting, when I started my hobby, I'd say there's plenty of entry-level divers, entry-level watches for you to enjoy before you go into the high-end stuff. Watch collecting isn't about always finding the most expensive watch, because, and truth be told, my opinion, you know, with what Seiko have, for me, it's very difficult to reach out to other brands for the same price point or the same price point they had. I've been looking, right, the last, I'd say 6 months now, where I'm at with the hobby. I've been looking at the £1,000 mark to the £2,000 mark to £2,500 mark. I mean, I'm not obviously silly. I wouldn't spend, you know, like 7-8 grand on a watch at the moment, but yeah, it's difficult to get that same value or the design or what I want from other brands out there. I don't see it. I mean, I've looked at Longines, I've looked at Oris, I've looked at even some of the basic Tudors, and nothing really appeals to me. I find them a bit bland, a bit basic, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone when I say that, but this is me personally, what I feel. And, you know, it's one of the reasons why I started the channel. So when you look at Seiko, right, there's plenty that you can enjoy. And I think up to a year ago, I was just talking to my mate, and I think between us, we've enjoyed everything that the entry level to touching the mid level stuff. You know, Seiko can offer. I've had it all basically, right? And I mean stuff like the baby tuna, the turtle, the samurai, you know, moving up slightly to the Saabs, you know, the Seiko monsters. Yeah, I've got all that stuff. And then sort of last year, I started kind of trying to move up slightly, and trying to enjoy the more, you know, the mid-range stuff with the 6R35 movement. Personally, I don't see why they're so expensive because the movement hasn't really changed, just added power reserve. So I went for the SB, DC, whatever this is, so the Marine Master 200. Beautiful watch. And when I reviewed this, I did state that the price is going to prevent a lot of people from enjoying this. It's such a great watch to have and hold and to wear. It fits beautifully on wrist, and such a compact large diver, if that makes sense. So as I've gone there, I mean, just look at the difference between the two, you know. Wow. And then as I've gotten there, then, you know, I've also got myself some of these new Alpinists, and I think the last purchase I made was this King Seiko chocolate brown dial. And I deleted a video that I made off a previous one I had, and again, I don't believe that the £1,200 price point is valid for this. And it's not about the money, it's about, is it worth it or not? That's a big thing for me. I have to see value in watches. If I don't, then I don't think they're worth that money. So where Seiko does stand out for me, guys, is the fact that there's a lot that goes into their watches. So they're really good watches. If you look at the Turtles, if you look at the Samurais, even these King Seikos, albeit overpriced, look at the definition, the craftsmanship, the dial quality, you know, the polishing, the hands, just how everything does accumulate together. It gives you a very unique experience, when you are into that watch enthusiast hobby, you know, without the snobbery that the other brands just don't provide. I'm sorry to say. So when you look at Tudors, and they're a bit bland, basic, two-sided shape cases, and I get it, there's a different market for that, but I want something special with the watch, which is why I found the Marine Master 600 to be the best value for money watch, dive watch, because at that price point it can't be beaten, right? Spring drive, say no more. That's where I rest my case. So let's get all these other watches out of the way now, and let's bring it back to the MM300. And I hope I'm making sense of what I'm saying. These are just some of the thoughts that I have, and I think it's probably worth sharing some of them with you guys there, because, you know, a lot of us are in the same boat, you know, experienced enthusiasts or collectors. You know, you kind of do go through this from time to time. So let's bring it back to the SBD X017. Now, even though it's a bit of a consolation in comparison to the MM600, I like it a lot more than I did in the pictures. In hand now, the watch looks, feels, everything that I thought it would be. Look at this sticker from eBay: no returns if removed. Well, let's check the condition now, right? Because as I said, it is used. I paid £1,500. In terms of condition, you know what? It's really good, right? It is used, so you expect a bit of wear and tear. The bracelet seems to be good enough. I mean, there's barely a mark on the clasp, even though the seller very honestly did say, you know, there's a couple of marks on there, but that titanium shell has sort of oxidized. Let's close that down, and then moving around to the other side of the bracelet, perfectly fine. Now, the profile of the case, I believe these are Zaratsu polished, but I could be wrong. Turn it around, all good. Yeah, no visible marks on the polished face of the case there. And on the side here, do we have any there? And again, no visible marks. So I'm going to leave really good feedback to the seller. This is in really good condition, guys. I mean, it's not far off new, in all honesty. Obviously it doesn't have the stickers on and all that to, you know, make it brand new, but he's done an amazing job of looking after it. So £1,500 was well worth it in my opinion. So let's fully wind this movement, and he did say it's running at +3 seconds. I'll confirm that, checking the movement out. But yeah, it's good. Ceramic bezel insert, and let's have a look at that alignment, because that's what you're all wondering. Yeah, it's not perfectly aligned. It's off by just like a hair width. And to be honest, if it was aligned, I wouldn't be fussed. There's people out there that would be, but it doesn't really bother me, because over the years now, you know, wearing watches, divers, the alignment, you don't tend to see it. It's just something in the back of your head where you want perfection. So let's bring it back around just to make sure we're not mistaken. Yeah, it's quite good though, right? I'll just be being very picky if I said it's just off by a hair width, but it is more or less exactly where you want it, and I'm not even going to make an issue out of this, right? So finally got my hands on the Seiko MM300. You know, the hardcore watchers of this channel know that I been talking very highly about these watches. It is one of my favorite dive watches. It is, in fact, I think if you were to imagine a dive watch, the way Seiko have captured this is what would come to mind. So I will gladly take off this little sticker, because yeah, this is going to be a keeper. And you know, who knows, if I do get my hands on the MM600, I might put it up for sale, but then I might hold on to it too. So with this one, let's check it out. I've wound it up. Let me get my time grapher set up, set the lift angle, and I will see how this watch is performing. So we've got the watch on the time grapher. It was reading plus 15 seconds a day, which isn't the best, right? You know, we expect some sort of better consistency. But the watch is about 2 years old. Then I demagged it. I put it back in the time grapher. Beat error is 0.1, which is, you know, spot on, really. Very good, healthy amplitude. 12 seconds a day. I can live with that. It's not much of an issue there, to be honest. You know, it is a used watch. It's not brand new outside the box. And I've noticed this with ATL35s before. They're not as tight as you'd like them. You've probably got a better chance of getting an NH35 Malaysian version that runs at 3 seconds, 5 seconds at the box. You know, I've modded so many watches, I've used so many movements, and I consistently see those figures from NH35s, which goes to show how well made those are. But the Japanese ones aren't as tight as well, which is kind of strange to know, but that's my observations. So on the side, you know, amplitude maintained, beat error maintained, and plus 8 seconds. So overall, we're looking at roughly about 10 seconds a day. I can live with that. Would I have liked it to be, you know, 2 seconds? Why not? But guys, it is what it is. It's a very small thing, and you know, I am very happy with it. As I've had time to kind of absorb it, I've had the watch in hand. You guys can see this video has gone on longer than it was supposed to. I'm really into this conversation we're having. So yeah, I'm happy. I gotta say, I'm happy. I'm gonna, you know, obviously size it up, get it on wrist, enjoy it. But I'm also going to compare it to my Proxima MM300. So this was the watch that helped start the channel. As you can see, I've modded it quite tastefully myself. And I went all out with this one. I luckily came across a genuine Seiko clasp, a ratchet one, on eBay, and I plugged it to my Proxima. But now that I've compared clasps, this is probably the newer version clasp, because you can see these polish highlights on the clasp, right? In comparison to the one on this, it doesn't look as good. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mod this MM300. I'm going to swap the clasp over and give it this updated one that I've got, which does look just slightly better. And the Lynx bracelet, I mean, you know, people do have a bad thing to say about Seiko bracelets, and I don't think this is probably the best bracelet for this watch, but it is what comes with it. And I'm very used to wearing the one from the Proxima, so I'll be putting that on there, and I'll also then do a full comparison with this MM300 with this Proxima. So we'll see how that goes. So thanks guys for watching. Those of you that have stayed till the end to listen to what I've got to say, really do appreciate it. It feels good to get, you know, this kind of content out as well, you know, speak to you guys as a hobbyist rather than just a watch reviewer. Look forward to more content on this versus this, and I'll keep you guys up to date if and when I ever do get the MM600. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.